What if one of the biggest stories surrounding Oak Island right now isn't just misleading, but completely false? For weeks, fans of The Curse of Oak Island have been caught in a whirlwind of shocking rumors about Season 13. Alleged leaks have spread across social media, claiming massive discoveries, secret breakthroughs, and even behind-the-scenes drama that could change everything we thought we knew about the island's legendary treasure hunt. These so-called insider reports have been shared thousands of times, sparking excitement, confusion, and a lot of speculation. Some fans believed that the mystery of Oak Island was finally about to be solved, while others questioned whether these leaks were simply too good to be true. But now one of the key figures behind the operation, Craig Tester, has stepped forward to address the situation directly. And his response? It's nothing short of explosive. According to Craig Tester, everything about the Oak Island Season 13 leak is a lie. Yes, you heard that right. Not partially true, not exaggerated, but completely false. So what does this mean? Were fans intentionally misled by fake information? Is this just another case of internet rumors spiraling out of control? Or could there be a deeper reason why these claims are being shut down so strongly? In this video, we're going to break it all down. We'll look at what the leaks actually claimed, why they gained so much attention so quickly, and what Craig Tester's statement reveals about what's really happening behind the scenes of Oak Island. We'll also explore whether there's any truth hidden beneath the rumors, or if this entire controversy is nothing more than a carefully constructed illusion. Because when it comes to Oak Island, one thing is always certain: the mystery runs deeper than anyone expects. If you're a true Oak Island fan, you won't want to miss this, because the truth behind these leaks might surprise you more than the treasure itself. Let's get into it. The cracking foundation of a legend. Craig Tester, a figure whose presence always felt like a beacon of reality amidst the fantastical theories, began to hint at something truly extraordinary. The Oak Island treasure hunt might be, to put it mildly, a well-orchestrated fabrication. This wasn't some minor detail, it was a cannonball aimed directly at the heart of a narrative that has captivated millions of viewers for more than a decade. The thing nobody tells you is just how much this statement from a man like Tester reshapes every single discovery, every exciting moment, every frustrating setback that fans have witnessed. His role, you see, was never just as a participant. He was the technical backbone, often guiding drilling operations down hundreds of feet into the earth, interpreting anomalies from ground-penetrating radar, and assessing the structural integrity of historical shafts like the famous Money Pit. His expertise validated every theory, every promising trace of wood or metal pulled from the depths. Without Craig, the technical operations often felt less certain, less real. The revelation wasn't a direct accusation, but a series of calculated steps and hints, a slow unfolding that suggested a man weary of a long-running charade. This is where the warnings about Craig Tester truly begin to resonate. Not warnings against him personally, but warnings from him, subtly communicated through his increasing distance from the project and eventually his public statements. What many overlooked is the sheer weight of experience Tester brought to the table. Before Oak Island, he was a successful entrepreneur in the oil and gas industry, a field demanding rigorous engineering and an unflinching eye for geological realities. This wasn't some starry-eyed amateur. This was a seasoned professional applying his skills to a historical puzzle. When such a figure starts to cast doubt, it's not to be taken lightly. Think about just how massive the entire operation really is. Crews have drilled more than 200 feet into the earth at multiple points, carving out boreholes and shafts big enough to fit a small home. They've hauled away thousands of cubic yards of soil and relied on high-tech tools like seismic imaging and sonar systems. The price tag for all of this is staggering, easily soaring into tens of millions of dollars over the years. So why would experienced entrepreneurs like the Lagina brothers, along with a seasoned expert like Craig Tester, keep pouring enormous amounts of money and energy into a search they supposedly knew had no real reward? The most startling idea is that if Tester's clues hold any weight, then the persistence itself becomes part of a grand illusion created to keep the audience hooked. Every wooden splinter, every tiny coin fragment, every strange reading from costly gear may have served a larger purpose: keeping the production alive. The public's obsession isn't only about hidden treasure, it's tied to our natural craving for discovery and the enchanting pull of history. The infamous Curse of Oak Island, a dark legend claiming that 7 lives must be sacrificed before the treasure is ever uncovered, adds yet another dramatic twist to the story. Over centuries, 6 people have reportedly died in the hunt, a chilling detail that raises the emotional stakes around the Laguna brothers' modern pursuit. But if the treasure itself is nothing more than a myth, then these haunting elements, tragic as they are, double as powerful storytelling tools. Craig Tester's analytical, engineering-driven mindset consistently offered a scientific counterbalance to the show's mystical undertones, grounding the adventure even as the legend grew larger than life. You can see it everywhere. The way his calm logic stood in contrast to the more imaginative theories. His increasing doubt and eventual public comments questioning the treasure's existence push us to reconsider everything about the persona he presented on screen. Was he genuinely hopeful but slowly disillusioned, or was he playing a calculated role in a much bigger narrative? The truth, as we'll uncover, opens the door to implications far deeper than simply locating gold. The journey ahead means digging further into the many layers of the Oak Island mystery, and what lies beyond could genuinely be mind-bending. Then there's the heavy burden of grief. Craig Tester's involvement on Oak Island wasn't only about chasing treasure, it was intertwined with deeply personal pain. This, many believe, is the real place where the meaning behind his warnings begins to intensify. What most people never talk about is that behind his steady demeanor and technical skill was a man dealing with overwhelming sorrow. The heartbreaking loss of his son, Drake Tester, left a profound mark on Craig and, in turn, on the entire Oak Island team. Drake, full of energy and enthusiasm, participated in the early stages of the treasure search, bringing a lively spirit to the tough work. His sudden passing, tied to a private health condition, was a crushing tragedy, one that added an emotional depth to the show that touched millions. For countless viewers, this loss cemented Craig's identity as a father above all else, with treasure hunting coming second. People empathized with him, recognizing that his continued presence on the island even while grieving spoke volumes, perhaps about honoring Drake's memory or holding on to their shared dream. But not everything is as straightforward as it appears. That period marked a quiet yet meaningful change in Craig's participation. Even though he still offered essential technical guidance, something about his energy shifted. It's reasonable to imagine that his heart may not have been invested in the quest for elusive treasure with the same passion. Many forget that grief can deeply reshape one's priorities and sense of purpose. Could his personal tragedy have made the legendary treasure feel less significant, maybe even empty? The emotional strain of repeatedly pushing forward through disappointment after disappointment may have become too much to bear. This is where his warnings might have grown from, a place of exhaustion and a rethinking of what truly matters. The endless loop of anticipation and letdowns, so central to the Oak Island story, may have become unbearable for Craig. Think about his choice to sell his multi-million-dollar home in Traverse City, Michigan, and eventually step away from the daily grind of Oak Island operations. This wasn't just a simple logistical decision. It marked a powerful desire to step back from that entire phase of his life. That luxurious home, worth close to $4 million, represented years of commitment and a lifestyle shaped around being close to the treasure hunt. Letting go of such a significant property hints at a much deeper yearning for change. The most astonishing part is that this personal shift occurred right as his doubts about the treasure's existence grew louder. So now the real question emerges. Did the emotional strain and this major change in perspective set the stage for his eventual suggestions that the whole treasure might be nothing more than a myth? It's an intriguing turn that implies his warnings weren't fueled by bitterness or deception, but possibly by a deeply rooted personal realization. As we continue, we'll look at how Craig's technical insights take on striking new meaning when seen through this fresh lens. The tools behind the mystery. Craig Tester was unquestionably the technical mastermind of the Oak Island crew. His engineering background and years of experience in the demanding oil and gas field were frequently showcased, grounding the team's more imaginative theories in hard science. He was the one capable of breaking down the complexities of deep drilling operations, interpreting strange sonar readings, and assessing the risks of hazardous gas pockets lurking hundreds of feet underground. Fans admired his ability to inject scientific clarity into a hunt soaked in folklore. But now, with his unsettling hints suggesting the treasure might be fake, every technological success and near disaster on the island suddenly feels different, more unsettling. You see, something most people never talk about is how easily scientific results can be interpreted, shaped, or framed to support a compelling narrative. Was Craig sincerely applying his expertise to crack the mystery, or was he, knowingly or not, part of a broader production that always needed suspense, danger, and the illusion of progress? Think about the countless artifacts uncovered over the years. Supposed centuries-old coins, pieces of wood, bits of ancient leather binding. Craig was often the first to inspect them, and his measured, serious reactions gave the items an air of enormous importance. When they found that leather bookbinding material, for instance, it helped spark the thrilling Shakespeare connection in Season 5, sending viewers into a frenzy over the idea that priceless lost manuscripts might be hidden in the money pit. What many missed is just how crucial Craig's responses were in building that momentum. When a major anomaly showed up on an imaging scan, Craig's guarded hope boosted the audience's excitement. When the team stumbled upon a dangerous gas deposit, his grave warnings highlighted the very real risks. But were these hazards amplified? Were the artifacts carefully placed, or were certain anomalies highlighted over others purely to keep the hunt exciting on camera? The most shocking truth is that if the treasure was never the real objective, then Craig's technical expertise, the very foundation that made everything appear legitimate, might have unintentionally served an entirely different purpose. Entertainment. His advanced machinery, capable of drilling over 200 feet into the ground and retrieving precise core samples, generated authentic geological data. Yet how that information was framed, which details were spotlighted, and which were quietly brushed aside, became the real pivot point. And you can witness this pattern across countless documentary-style shows built on suspense. Take the legendary 90-foot stone discovered early in the island's history. It supposedly contained mysterious carvings indicating where the treasure lay. Craig's engineering mindset would naturally zero in on how to recover the stone and analyze its composition, but the show's storytelling pushed its mystical symbolism to the forefront. For Craig Tester, if his fake treasure hints hold any truth, the dilemma is immense. Was he a mastermind shaping the illusion, or a dedicated expert whose work was used to support a storyline beyond his control? His ongoing silence toward the Lagina brothers only deepens the mystery. And this unanswered question casts a long, unsettling shadow over the entire Oak Island adventure, a shadow that stretches across every person involved, as we'll uncover next. Credibility in chaos. Craig Tester's unsettling statement suggesting the Oak Island treasure might be nothing more than an elaborate illusion didn't just shock viewers. They struck at the very core of the entire operation, placing the Lagina brothers, Rick and Marty, directly in the crosshairs. For years, the two have been the undeniable pillars of the curse of Oak Island, their passion and unwavering determination propelling the quest ever forward. Many people are obsessed with their commitment, viewing them as authentic explorers chasing a genuine historical mystery. But now, with a crucial insider like Tester raising serious doubts, their motivations themselves become a subject of scrutiny. You see, the thing nobody talks about is how a single insider's challenge to a long-standing narrative can suddenly call the integrity of everyone involved into question. Have Rick and Marty, who have poured millions of dollars and decades of effort into this dream, secretly known the treasure was a myth all along? Or were they swept up in a larger production, perhaps believing a version of the story that wasn't entirely grounded in truth? Their reaction, or rather their continued refusal to address Craig's hints directly, only deepens the mystery. Not all things are as straightforward as they appear, and their silence leaves endless room for speculation, suggesting they are either concealing something monumental or struggling to find the right words. What many overlook is that the true treasure of Oak Island may not be gold, artifacts, or ancient riches at all. It might be the show itself. The Curse of Oak Island has grown into a television phenomenon, attracting millions of viewers every season. That kind of loyalty translates into massive advertising revenue and enormous profit for the network and production team. The most shocking truth is that if the treasure hunt was always meant to fuel a compelling TV narrative, then the real riches were never buried beneath Nova Scotia's soil. They were found in the ratings and the financial success behind the scenes. Think about the extensive supporting cast: Dan and Dave Blankenship, Charles Barkhouse, and a long list of other specialists and enthusiasts who devoted substantial parts of their lives to the island. What did they truly know? Were they unknowingly part of a carefully orchestrated spectacle, or were some of them aware of the bigger picture? Craig Tester's engineering responsibilities, which often involved shielding the team from alleged dangers like underground collapses or toxic gas pockets, complicate matters even further. If the treasure was a myth, were these dangers magnified for dramatic storytelling, making each excavation seem like a perilous, high-stakes mission? And you can see this pattern everywhere in entertainment. Raise the stakes, heighten the tension, and keep the audience glued to the screen. The credibility of the entire series now teeters on a knife's edge. Every artifact, every historical connection, every spark of hope is tinted by the possibility that the deception may have been intentional. Craig Tester's hints push viewers to revisit past episodes, combing through scenes for subtle signs that might have foreshadowed this revelation. Was it the relentless optimism despite continuous setbacks? Or maybe the suspiciously well-timed discoveries that, in hindsight, should have sparked more questions than excitement? So, was Craig Tester's warning the ultimate truth, or simply another twist in Oak Island's never-ending saga? Share your thoughts below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more mind-bending mysteries.